Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we can grab your undivided attention. This is a mandatory and compulsory race briefing for those doing the challenge half tomorrow. Can everybody hear us okay? Yep, all good? Right. Here we are to just try and take out the guesswork for you. If you can leave your questions to the end with each of the individual event directors or those that have come up and spoken, who might have said something that you find a little bit ambiguous or perhaps haven't covered off, they will be standing here at the end and you can go up and have a chat to them individually, please. Okay, so first up today, we're going to welcome up Bill Roxburgh, whose pretty much job is to work tiresomely to bring this event together every year. So we'll just bring him up to give you just a bit of an overview and a bit of a welcome.
Very much, Mark. A big welcome to our big welcome to you all, and thanks for coming to Wanaka. I'd like to welcome you to our first Integrity Homes Challenge Wanaka, which incorporates the Asia Pacific Middle Distance Champs and also the Suzuki New Zealand Middle Distance Champs. Sorry, quite a mouthful, but it's quite an event we're hosting this year, and thank you very much for coming along. Last year we were also voted the world's most family-friendly event, and I'd just like to thank you all very much for voting for us, and hopefully we live up to that reputation again this year. We have some competitors here that are doing their 13th event, so I'd really like to recognise them, and this year we've got special Legends t-shirts made for them. So I'd like to ask Steve, Jack, Jonathan and Jim to come on up please and receive the t-shirts. Once again, we're sort of looking at very favourable weather, which is really good to hear. You'll possibly get out of the water tomorrow morning, and hopefully it'll be 16 degrees, getting up to a high of around about 26 to 27 degrees, and maybe a bit of light wind. But saying that, we are in a mountainous area, and every time you look at that weather, like I have been doing, it changes. So, just like to say, hope you've enjoyed your Challenge Wanaka gifts. We've given away a coffee cup this year because Wanaka is no longer selling takeaway cups, as a lot of you might have found out. And when you pick up your finisher shirt tomorrow, you'll also pick up a pair of compression socks, so it's a special Asia Pacific gift, so hope you enjoy them. As you're aware, Challenge Family is part of the Asia Pacific. There's some really great events in Asia nowadays, particularly Taiwan, which our team from Taiwan are running the merchandise tent, so if you're looking to go to an Asia Pacific event, pop in there and have a yarn to Roanne. And she'll tell you all the information. Just to help you along this year, we've got some really stunning medals you'll receive when you finish. And they've also got a magnet on the back that will stick on your fridge just to remind you of the event for next year. So anyway, that's all from me. I hope you have a really great day, and we look forward to seeing you at the finish prize giving at 4:30. Thanks very much.
Okay, we're just going to bring Sally on up, one of our organising committee, just to give you basically a race overview, just in case the weather does change overnight, just to look at the contingency, and really probably targeted more at the Australians, just looking at anti-doping.
Thanks, Mark. A quick race overview for tomorrow. So the race manual contains all the information that you need about the race tomorrow. The league directors will highlight some important points and hazards after I've spoken to you. Please make sure your bike and helmet have both been checked by Racers Edge before you bring them into transition this afternoon. Would recommend racking your bikes by the handlebars overnight tonight, just in case the wind does pick up. And then tomorrow morning when you come in to transition to pump up your tyres or put your nutrition on your bike, whatever you need to do, you can rack them by the seat tomorrow morning. Transition opens at 3 o'clock this afternoon and all bikes must be racked by 6:30 tonight without exception. There's no bike racking tomorrow morning. All recovery, which is your green gear bags, must be handed in either prior to 6:30 p.m. tonight in the marquee here or tomorrow morning between 5:30 and 7:30 a.m. These bags can contain any food or clothing that you may require as soon as you finish the race tomorrow. Would recommend not overinflating your tyres tonight. In case they do go pop, we'll let you know if we do hear any of them go flat. Please make sure you have a clear understanding of where you enter transition and where you exit transition for each leg. There is a map on the notice board over in the marquee over there, and I'm also around in transition this afternoon to answer any questions. If you're an individual athlete, the race number tattoo is to go on your right arm. If you're in a team, you'll receive 2 tattoos. One is for the biker and one is for the runner, and they go on your left arm, please. We recommend putting these on tonight, placing them on your arm and rubbing it with a damp cloth for the best effect. Before lining up on the start line tomorrow, so team swimmers and obviously all individuals, it's compulsory to cross the timing mat that'll be on the beach by the start line before you enter the fenced start area. Failure to do so will result in disqualification, and we won't have you registered in our timing system as starting.
No tattoos? Nothing in the bag. No tattoo in the bag.
Don't worry about the tattoos then if they're not in your bag. So once you exit the swim tomorrow, for those of you that are swimming, there's approximately a 200-metre run up and over the footbridge into the bike transition area. There's no change tent this year, so any changing needs to happen at your bike, and the TriNZ officials will provide a little bit more information about what you can and can't do at your bike. Swimmers can only peel their wetsuit down to the waist before entering the transition area. And please leave your wetsuit, goggles and swim cap under your bike rack so other competitors will not be inconvenienced when they come into transition. Full information on the team changeovers is all in the race manual. Juliet or Ken, one of them, will cover the race rules. Integrity Homes Challenge Wanaka is strictly a non-drafting race, so we have advised TriNZ to take a hard line on anyone drafting out there on the bike. When you finish tomorrow, you'll receive your finisher's medal across the finish line. If all team members come through the finish chute together, they will also receive their medals, and then you can come through to the recovery area and pick up your t-shirts and socks. Integrity Homes Challenge Wanaka is a family-friendly event, and we know how important it is to share your success with your family at the finish line. There's quite a few of you crossing the finish line, one about every 15 seconds, so any photos, we ask that they get taken quickly so that we can welcome the next finishers across the line. If you've got friends and family in Wanaka, or if you've got them somewhere else around the world, they can follow your progress on our Challenge Wanaka app throughout the whole race. Contingency, if we need to put our contingency course in place tomorrow, that decision will be made and announced by 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. The alternate swim course is on the marina side of the bay. And anti-doping. Challenge Family operates a zero tolerance policy to performance enhancing drugs. No athlete may use any substances or procedures with the intention to improve their performance, eliminate fatigue or any other purpose. Violation of this rule will result in instant disqualification. Integrity Homes Challenge Wanaka is working with Drug Free Sport NZ to ensure this policy is upheld and to maintain the integrity of our sport. Random drug tests may be made at the end of the race. So if you're requested to undergo one of these tests, your participation in the race is your agreement to do so. I'll now ask Mark to introduce the league directors.
Yeah, you shouldn't need drugs out there. I mean, look at this place. You should just be naturally on a high. It is just arguably the most stunning triathlon anywhere on the planet. We're now going to talk about the first part of the race, the swim, gladiatorial by nature it can be. So we're going to bring up a man who's actually laid straight line. It's just an arrow out there today in regards to the lane of the marker boys and stuff. So we'll get Chris Thornton to come up and talk to you a little bit about the swim start, the direction you need to take, exiting, coming in and out of the water.
everyone. Welcome and good luck tomorrow. As Challenge Wanaka is a family affair, my kids have lent me their crayons to be able to draw this little image here. If you can't see it, then it'll be up over here in a few once we're finished, so make sure you come over and have a quick look. Tomorrow morning is looking fantastic. The water temperature is about 17 plus degrees, so it's going to be warmer in the water than out. We've got a really calm looking forecast, so the expectation is it to be a really calm start and a really, really nice calm swim for everybody out there, so we don't have any wind in the morning. We're going to have 30 or so kayakers out there, as well as a whole swagger of powerboats. So that's a lot of volunteers that have come out to give their time tomorrow. So if you do get the chance to say thanks along the way, then they'll be much appreciated. Yeah, just stopping away. There's going to be 6 buoys out there. So traditionally there's been 5 big market buoys out for Challenge Wanaka. The aqua bike has actually joined in onto the course tomorrow morning. So there's a 6th buoy. Doesn't mean anything for you that have done it before in the past. It's just an extra big buoy that's going to be there. Now the start line is right down the bottom, as it always has been. It's a deep water start. So when it's your time to start, come on out and make sure you line up nicely. There's going to be quite a lot of people out there, so just be a bit wary of each other and give each other as much space as you can, as you need, as you start that line. Be aware that it gets a bit full on when you first start with a big amount of people, so watching out for hands and other people, so just a little bit of respect of others if you can. Once we start, the start's actually coming from the big white boat, the dual image. They'll be parked out beside the start line. You can see the start line from between the big orange marker. I'll show you down here. If anyone can see that, there's an orange buoy and a big red buoy. There'll be a line there, and the dual image will let a horn off when it's time for you to start. You need to keep the big buoys on your left shoulder throughout the whole race until you get to the finish. That last big buoy that's right at the very water's edge, you pass on your right shoulder. So have a look at that tomorrow and you'll see what I mean. If you are swimming between the large buoys, there's the little pink ones that are out there. They're about 50 metres apart, and there's just a line that takes them straight into the water's edge. There's no rope that goes from start to finish. So if you do find yourself on the inside of the lanes at any time, then it just means you're going to be swimming a bit further. So if you just try and keep on the outside with the buoys the whole time. If you do need assistance while you're out there, all we ask you to do is give us as much warning as you can. So putting your arm up in the air, waving, and making as much noise as practical for you at the time, so we can come out and help out. So if you do need to hold on to a vessel, it's totally fine. You can just grab on and just hang out and stretch out, take a breath, it's all good. You can't go forward with that vessel, and you can't get out of the water. So just make sure you're holding on to that. If you do need assistance, let them know, and then they'll pass you on to the powered boats and they can bring you back in. When you come out, obviously Wanaka Lake's got some Didymo and some other things in there. There'll be a wash, clean, dry at the transition. So at some stage, please make sure that you clean all your gear appropriately so that you're not taking away any of our noxious weeds and putting them into different waterways. The start zone, there's also a warm-up zone as well. We'd ask you to stay out of the water until 6:30, and then you can start doing your things, you warm up from there. We've got lots of powerboats going around in the dark, setting the course up. We don't want to have any interactions along the way. If you've got any specific questions, then I'll be over here for the next half an hour after the briefing, and you can come have a look at this map. So good luck, everybody.
Yeah, really important in that swim, and I say it every year, it can be gladiatorial. Seed yourself accordingly. As I like to say, do not confuse ability with ambition at the start. We've got a former Otago hooker, David Ladder here. We've got former All Black Ian Jones. They only know one way, and that's over the top. So we just want to make sure everybody's, getting through the swim and feeling comfortable. It's probably the one part of the triathlon where I guess people have the greatest level of anxiety. Just to maybe slightly older swimmers or stuff, if you are feeling a little bit sort of faint or starting to feel a bit fatigued, just take your time getting to your feet when you exit the water. You're lying on the horizontal, the blood tends to be a little bit more in the upper body. Suddenly you get to your feet, it's going to go into the lower extremities. We're going to see some wonderful ugly faces as you stand up. As I like to say, you're breathing through your eyelids at that point. So, you know, and so just have a think about just the other thing, and I'll just say this now, just across all three disciplines. Today, maybe just take a little bit of time and do some what we call negative visualization. So what does happen if David Latter kicks you in the face? You lose your goggles. You go back and get them? Well, that's up to you, but just go through some worst case scenarios, what I call negative visualization. Same on the bike. What happens if you pick up a drafting penalty? What happens if you drop your drink bottles? You go back. And so, it doesn't matter what you do, just maybe you've visualized it and gone through it in your head. It'll just make it a little bit easier to deal with that on the day. Right, let's move on to the bike. And we will bring up Mel again, who was holding the sign brilliantly, to take you through this, because there have been a couple of changes to the course from last year.
Yep, and I need to grow. All right, hopefully you can all hear me. So as Mark said, for all of those that have come and done this event before, we do have changes to the bike course. It was all arrowed and will be volunteer marshalled. But remember, it is your responsibility to know the course, so don't try and go where you've ridden in the past. It is a 91.5 kilometre course, just in case anyone can't ride anything past 90. I've put 10 kilometre markers out on the course, and they are approximate, because obviously just where I can kind of get them in on the side of the road. The one that you can rely on is the 10 kilometres to go. That is in the right spot. If you see any green signs out there, please ignore them. They are in relation to the aquabike cyclists. As you all know, it's all on open roads. We do try to keep traffic to a minimum, but we have tourists who potentially could arrive tomorrow and have no idea that this event is on. There is rough chip, and we have endeavoured to remove all roadkill, and we have endeavoured to mark any potholes or uneven surface that hasn't been fixed. But as you can imagine, with this rural roading, you will have several ups and downs, so just make sure that you're aware of that. As mentioned, you must have your race number on your helmet, on your bike, and on the back of your torso. So if you have arrived here and you don't have a race belt, which is going to make it a lot easier for you, pop out into the expo. I know that Profile Design have bought a bunch of race belts so that no one has to go, what am I going to do? There is roaming bike mechanics on the course. They are there to help you. Obviously, there's no guarantee that they are going to be near you when you need them. If they give you any equipment, they will be recording your race number, and you will then have to go to Racer's Edge on Sunday and pay for your equipment. As mentioned, roads are open and tourism, so you'll have camper vans, you will have boats, etc. We need to keep to the left, and we need to follow road rules, and basically pay a lot of attention out there. The first section is where you're going out to Hospital Flat, and your first aid station is when you return from Hospital Flat, so don't despair when you ride out and it's there on the other side of the road. I figured you shouldn't need it with 10 k's in. So that's your first aid station. You'll then come back in through town, and then we'll enter into a new section, which you will come past main race headquarters, and then you will veer left up Lakeside Road, along Beacon Point Road, and then there is a huge arrow turning you right onto Albury Road. That road will eventually take you down onto the main state highway out to Albert Town again. I want to remind you that the Albury Road, Gun Road roundabout section, it is a popular spot. It has been a popular spot in the past for run supporters to go out there. So just bear in mind that this time we're going to have runners and cyclists possibly on that section. So although it's a great viewing spot, let's try and avoid having additional vehicles out there, because it's just going to cause a few extra hazards. When you come to Albert Town Bridge, it's how we have 2 no passing zones on the course this year. So Albert Town Bridge, although it's lovely and beautiful hot mix on the bridge, we are not going over it. And please don't try and go over it. I have disqualified athletes in the past. That bridge is now carpeted. You are going up on the footpath. I go out again tonight to ensure that the entry and exit points on the seal is well and truly swept. But take care. It's a 60-metre stretch of your race. Don't ruin it by trying to have a hero act coming across there. So no passing as you come down into the entrance, and as soon as you are off the bridge, you will see a no passing zone. Stop. You will then come across Hawea Dam. If winds pick up tomorrow, and depending obviously on the direction, there's a 90-degree turn, and there has been tendencies for you to basically sort of get a good side buff of wind coming around there. So just take care, and please don't cut that corner. As you come come up to the Red Bridge, you will see this is our second no passing zone, and you will also see there is a left green arrows because the aquabikers will turn left here. If you choose to go up there, you can add another 30 k's to your bike. I heard the response for the extra 1.5, so I'm pretty sure you don't want to do the 30. So the no passing zone starts just prior to this intersection, because we will have half cyclists in essence going straight ahead, and we will have aquabikers turning left and also coming back out and joining you to go over the Red Bridge. The Red Bridge has a beautiful big thick black mat that gets laid on there race morning. It will go down the centre of the bridge because the bolts on there are very, very deceiving. They are incredibly gnarly. It's a 30k speed zone going over the Red Bridge. So if you choose to go over the road rules and go faster, that's at your own peril. Again, extremely small section of your race. It's a stunning view, no passing. Just take it easy and get over there, and then as soon as you're across the bridge again, you'll see the no passing zone stops, and away you go again. As you come up past Airport Hill, obviously your airport will be on your right. You will then turn left. This is a new section of the course into Mount Barker Road. Your next aid station is there. It's at a business called Crossfire. This road is a newly sealed, well not newly, 12 to 18 months it's been sealed. If you're a good speedy cyclist, it's a really uneven surface. It's also a narrow road, and there is no line markings. Remember, there could be vehicles on there, and also you keeping to the left. Okay, so although we always talk about don't cross the centre line, there's also a virtual centre line if there wasn't any paint there. So again, please be careful. As you come along the end of Mount Barker Road, you do a 90-degree turn into Forks Road. Please don't cut this corner either. There's a stop sign with cars coming down. There will be cones there for you to go around. When you're coming into town, you will be coming down McDougall Street again. Beautiful, smooth, hot, fast. Gather yourself together, ready for your run. Again, caution is required. We do have multiple intersections coming across that. We will have traffic management and volunteers on there. But we just want to make sure that you get in safe. Again, it's the last bit of your ride. Aid stations will have pure gels. There will be some caffeinated and some not. We will have water and we will have electrolytes. And at the last aid station at Crossfire, there will also be Coke available. Please help our volunteers out by yelling out what you want. And if you, for a visual, anything in a pure bottle is electrolyte. Anything in a non-pure bottle will be water. Okay, I know in the past we've had a little bit of issue with water bottles. At 2 of your 3 aid stations, your water will be in white Challenge Wanaka bottles. At the other aid station, they are in spring water bottles that do fit into your bike bottle holder. Any questions after the race? After the race. Yeah, wait till after the race. I'll obviously be around. Come and give me a holler. I will also just mention the cut-off time, sorry. So the cut-off time is 1:15 p.m. and we'll just chat to anyone that gets to that point. Oh, yeah, sure. Each of my aid stations has a drop zone start and a drop zone finish. That is the only place that you can discard your rubbish. I've been very generous with these. They're probably close to 100 metres prior to the aid station and over 150 metres past the aid station. If you get caught discarding anywhere else outside there, it is a stop and go offence. So please make sure you keep those roads out there nice and tidy. Thanks.
And Just a note for those with false teeth, if you are discarding a power bar, just make sure you don't have your teeth attached to it. There was a set handed in last year. It was early after the swim and they were still chattering. Right, swim and bike for show, run for dough. You run well, you're going to have a good day. Let's bring up our run course director to take you through arguably the world's most beautiful run, Dwayne Smith.
The easy bit till last. Welcome to Challenge Wanaka. There's no run change. For the last 2 weeks it's been under review because of the flooding we've had around here. But it's great to be able to use the outlet track because that's the best part of the whole run. You guys probably like Gun Hill, but you know. Due to the recent flooding, the course is not as even as it used to be from previous years if you ran it. It's very sort of rough in some places due to the flooding. More tree roots exposed, broken driftwood on track, more sandy areas and rocky areas, so take care there. At the 1K mark, 1 kilometre mark, which is the marina down here, we'll have a marshal on duty there, but just be a wee bit careful where you cut through the car park because people with their boats are still putting their boats in at the marina, and some of them don't overly care about where they're backing or who they're backing over. After R4, which is outlet track, before going up the small climb up Gun Road, the gravel part there before you get to the Tarsiel is quite rough. It's like a four-wheel drive track. Can you please pick your run line through that? It's quite up and down. Now, the reason why I brought up this cone, everyone knows what a cone is. When running on the sealed sections of the road, have the cone on your left-hand side. If you run on the other side of the cone, you're in car territory. The roads are still open to the public, and especially running up Gun Road. Stay in that area where traffic management is. Otherwise, you're going to be exposed to cars coming down the hill, and we do not want any incidents. Now, at the road crossings, which is the U-turn and a few side roads, we have marshals. If they tell you to stop, they're not trying to muck up your race, they're there for your safety. They will endeavour to stop vehicles, but sometimes people don't like stopping, and they'll do their best to stop vehicles before you get there. So please take into account that. If they tell you to stop, you stop. The other big thing is the medic's decision is final. If the medics are called for you, or the medics see you on the course and pull you up to check you, their decision is final. There's no argument in that. It's for your safety, and that's what the rules are. Now, as Mel said, from Albury Road, where the new cycle is, to Gun Road, it gets very congested there with people driving along, yelling out, spectators, family. That's great for encouragement, but can you please tell them to pull safely to the side of the road, because with the cyclists going that way, with the runners going that way, it will be bedlam. Now Red Bull will have a Red Bull station just after R4. That's before the Gun Road climb, so that might help you out if you require it, going up that small climb. If you pull out, can you please inform an aid station who will radio it through to comms? That's crucial because we need to know where competitors are, and at the end of the day, if we can't account for a number, it's now, this year, we haven't had it in the past, but there'll be signs after the run aid stations, drop zones. They're going to be approximately 30 metres to 40 metres long. Can you please use them? Previous years on the Sunday when I do my rubbish sweep, I find sponges up trees. I think some people are trying to be basketball players, and it causes, and we don't want this beautiful place here to be ruined by rubbish everywhere. And also, just as well as what I've just said, please remember that the roads are still open to the public. That's a major thing here. Don't go outside those cones and you'll be all right. Okay, have a great race.
Yeah, last couple of years ago we got a letter of complaint from some homeowner. Someone had defecated on their front lawn. That Australian was banned. No, look, the run. Yeah, look, as I said, run well, you're going to have a good day. Just a couple of little things to think about. Think about form when you're running. If you're starting to fatigue, think about running tall. Think about just grabbing a little twig between your thumb and your forefinger and just pinching that. Will just relax your shoulders a little bit and hopefully allow you just to maintain that form a bit. What's unique about this course? Just a quick, most people in this room know Sir John Walker, 1500 metre gold medalist in 1976. He had a great ability to intimidate athletes. He tells this great story of being in Rome and a couple of Irishmen on the start line in this 1500 metre final. And they were Roman Catholics and they were doing the cross and looking to the Lord. And he just walked up and he said, "He's not going to help you today." The moral of the story is this course knows no names, it knows no reputations, can't buy your way through it, you can't talk your way through it. You've got to be smart, you've got to be sensible, and you've got to race based on the training that you have done. So you can't train one way and expect to race another. So just little things to go away and think about today. Right, now we'll bring up rules and regulations. Ken O'Rourke from Try NZ.
Thank you, Mark. I'd like to welcome you all here to Paradise. We love coming every year. Now, this race, as Bill mentioned earlier, is the Suzuki New Zealand Middle Distance Championships. So it's run under Try NZ's rules, and that's what we'll be officiating on. We have a whole team. We've got 15 of us that'll be out there tomorrow to make sure that everyone's having a fair day. That's what the rules are for, and also to keep you all safe. And that's really what it's all about. So just going through the different disciplines. So with the swim, we'll actually have 3 of our TOs on the water, technical officials. A couple of things, you probably won't need them, we hope, the water's too warm. No web-fingered gloves. You can't come along like Aquaman, so that's not allowed. No booties or socks. It's everyone's in the same. We can't have someone being warmer than someone else, not allowed. And make sure you've got the correct coloured swim cap on. You wouldn't want to end up in the wrong race, so no, you wouldn't want to do that. And you've heard it's a deep water start. As for the water temperature, 1 hour before the start of the race, my chief swimmer, she's called, she will have measured the water temperature and an announcement will be made 1 hour before race starts as to what the official race water temperature is. If it's under 16 or 16 or under, wetsuits will be mandatory. If it's over 16, they're optional. But I really don't know why you wouldn't want to wear one, to be honest, but there you go. Right, let's talk about transition when you come out of the water. As you might have heard, there's no change tent. So you can get changed by a bike, but nudity is not allowed. You will be disqualified if nudity is seen in transition. Some of my technical officials actually probably won't mind, but officially you're not allowed it, sorry. So you can do any changing, but no nudity. And once you're out there, for the men, you've got to have your torso covered on the bike and on the run. I'm sure ladies probably would do that anyway, but that's the way it is. When you are going to unrack your bike, your helmet must be done up before you unrack your bike. If you don't, someone will make you stop and do it up and then go. They'll hold you up and make sure you do it. There's a 10-metre drafting rule. Now, a lot of you that have raced will know how this works. Well, officially what it is, it's 10 metres from the front wheel of the guy or girl in front of you that we measure from, okay? That's like 2 average-sized family cars or a car and a trailer. It's a subjective distance because you've got a technical official on a motorbike who'll be watching, making sure you're 10 metres away from the person in front. So if you've decided, well, that doesn't matter, sorry, my technical official will hold up a blue, will blow his whistle, her whistle, hold up a blue card, call it your number and tell you to stop. And then you must stop at the next safest place, get off your bike, both feet off the bike, serve a 3-minute penalty. If you start arguing, the penalty won't start until you stop arguing. So it's all about making it fair for everybody. If it's a tight corner, okay, there's lenience on our guys, or when you come into a drink station, stuff like that. But in general terms, 10-metre drafting rule makes it fair for everyone. It's your ability on the bike which is being judged, not the ability to suck off the guy or the girl in front of you. And we'll have up to 6 motorbikes on the course, keeping an eye on that and also making sure you're safe. If there's any crashes, they'll be first on the scene, hopefully, to call up the medics. So that's what that's about. It is a subjective judgment by our technical officials, but they'll be doing their very best and making their best efforts. If you come to the end of the race and you've been penalised or for some particular issue, not drafting, and you think, oh, this is unfair, I'm going to protest. Yeah, you can, but I'm the head referee of this race. My colleague Juliette Fay, who's the technical delegate, she's only just arrived, unfortunately, due to family illness, so hence the reason I'm talking to you today. You must tell me, the head referee, within 15 minutes of you finishing the race, that you're going to protest, okay? Then you've got 30 minutes to effect the protest in writing and pay a $50 fee. If you decide it's not worth it, well, they're like a few people do when they realise it costs $50, that's fine. Or you say, no, I'm going ahead with this. It'll go to what's called the competition jury, of which there'll be 3 senior people, and you make your case, we hear all the evidence, and a decision's made. If you lose your $50. If you win, you get $50 back. So that's how that works. So that's a protest, and if you're going to lodge a protest, we'll put it up on a board by the finish line saying number 307's protested, so everyone's aware of it. Okay, so that's how that works. Centre line. Mel talked about the centre line. We have a white centre line in places or a virtual centre line everywhere else. Don't cross it, because if you do and you're spotted by one of my TOs, you'll be disqualified. Simple, because that's dangerous. If it's an emergency situation, there's 3 bikes crash in front, you can't do anything else, yeah, okay, that's an emergency situation. We have lenience on that. But in general terms, centre line is absolutely sacrosanct. Don't go over it, we spot you, sorry, you're disqualified. You can finish the race, but you won't get a result. You won't get any mention in the results. Mel talked about a couple of sharp corners. If there's a cone, go round the cone at the sharp corner. Don't cut across, because that's crossing the centre line. You get spotted, sorry, you're out of the race, okay? So don't be tempted. It's not worth it for one corner to blow your whole race. You've spent a lot of time training, a lot of money getting here, etc. I talked about the rubbish discarding. That's imperative. Don't just chuck it anywhere. If you do, someone spots you, you'll be made to stop, pick it up. And if it's a bad banana, they might make you eat it or something. I don't know. But anyway, we'll see. Right, on the run. No music is allowed on the run. You might be used to training with your beautiful iPod or your phone or something. Hang on, I haven't finished. I haven't finished. If you've got an MP3 player, that's okay. That's all you're allowed. But who has MP3 players? They're kind of very last year, aren't they, or last century or something. But anyway, nothing else. No phones, no headsets, no anything like that. If you've got an MP3 player, okay, Challenge has a waiver on that, we're fine. But if you do have an MP3 player, you must be able to clearly hear instructions from race officials. If you want to blow your brain out with music, that's great, but you can't do it here, because if you can't hear instructions, sorry, you're contravening the rules. So that's the only deal with regard to the run and an MP3 player. Got to be able to clearly hear instructions from a race official. As I mentioned, no beer torsos on the run. Race numbers should be on the front, because when you come across the finish line, they want to see your number, want to do all that stuff. So when you're on the run, if you've got a race belt, stick it around the front. I'm from Christchurch and I do race commentaries, and I say about 400 times a day, please put your race number around the front. So if you could do that, that would be outstanding. So if you've got a race belt, use it. If you haven't, as Mel said, you can go and buy one. And that's exactly helps everyone. Now, outside assistance, that can be anything. Someone handing you a drink bottle. Why should you get one when the guy next to you is exhausted or the girl next to you? No outside assistance. You can be penalised for that. That includes coaching. So if your coach says, oh, I'm going to drive along and I'm going to yell out your times out the window, that's outside assistance. You'll be warned if that happens, that must stop. If you decide, well, I'm going to do it again, you'll be disqualified. You get one warning, then you're out. So if it's a coach standing on one place, like a roundabout calling splits, and he's never going anywhere else, or she's never going anywhere else, yeah, that's okay. But we don't want coaches leapfrogging along in cars, causing a disruption on the road. I saw one year I was here with some pros chasing them out on a motorbike, and the guy was driving on the wrong side of the road, calling out instructions. So he's breaking New Zealand road rules anyway. So don't take any outside assistance, because you know it's a fair go for everybody. And no pacing on the run. We had someone here one time, his mate decided to join on the run. I'll help you out. Sorry, that's outside assistance. You could get disqualified if that person says, oh, bugger the rules, I'm going to do it anyway, and he's been warned. So unfortunately, that's out as well. So don't do that. Lots of rules, but as I said, it is the Suzuki New Zealand Mid-Distance Champs we're here for. Serious stuff. So hope you have a fantastic race. It's an amazing place we've got here. And we're all so lucky. So well done, good luck, have a great race tomorrow.
Okay, we won't keep you much longer. I'm going to bring Sally back up just quickly to just quickly give an overview of just some of the aid stations, a little bit regarding transition race numbers. Sally.
Alrighty, aid stations tomorrow. Our nutrition sponsor this year is Pure Sports Nutrition. If you're not familiar with them, please make sure you read the information in your race pack or come along to their seminar here in the main marquee at 3 o'clock this afternoon. There's 3 aid stations on the bike course and 7 out on the run course. Full details on the aid station locations and what's available at each one is in your race manual. There's no special needs station throughout the event. Competitors, as it's been mentioned before, must not drop rubbish or drink bottles outside of the immediate drop zones at each aid station, please. No outside assistance is allowed on the course tomorrow. We have over 500 amazing volunteers out there helping you with your race from start to finish, and we want it to be a fun day for them as well, so please be courteous to them. Even if you miss that drink bottle on the bike, they will be trying their best. Your race numbers need to be worn correctly and not altered, please. Full information is in the race manual on where to put your race numbers. Gear collection tomorrow. So transition area will reopen tomorrow at 1:15 p.m. for bike and gear bag collection. Only athletes can access the transition area from the gate behind the tent, which is over on this side. There will be no access through the tent or around the front as there's still competitors coming through transition and finishing. Only athletes may pick up their gear. Your wristband number will be checked against your bike number and helmet number. So no number equals no bike, no exceptions. The prize giving is at the finish area tomorrow afternoon from 4:30 p.m. and we'll have music and food trucks on site until 6 p.m. The wrap party, for those of you that want to continue into the night, will be at Post Office Lane from 6:30 p.m. onwards. The championship race. So Challenge Family have created the championship race, which will be again held in Slovakia on May the 31st. Full information is in your race manual regarding qualification spots here in Wanaka. The ITU Long Distance World Champs. Integrity Homes Challenge Wanaka is also a selection event for the ITU Long Distance Triathlon Champs. Selection nomination forms can be found on the TriNZ website and are due by February the 18th. And that's all from me. If anyone's got any questions for the league directors, they'll be around for the next 10 minutes or so. I'm going to head out into transition for anyone that wants to be talked through the flow of transition. Otherwise, I'm in transition from 3 o'clock this afternoon. I hope you all have a great race tomorrow, and we look forward to seeing you at the finish line.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, look, have a great race. Looking forward to welcoming everybody home tomorrow. Have a good night's sleep. If you don't have such a good day, don't beat yourself up. 2K swim, 90-kilometre bike ride, 21K run. You're still a better athlete than the English rugby team.